We don't need recruiters, we don't need hiring managers, we don't need over a period of time maybe job portals also. Right? We are reducing all these things. Just one app will create the entire magic for the job seekers. As soon as they click, it will give you details of the person who has posted, and you can directly go and apply through the mobile app. There and then your job is done. So managers will not keep saying that I need the candidate as of yesterday and the job rec is pending from 9 months. So all those things will get eliminated over a period of time. That's where we are in friends. Thank you.
So just to quickly wrap up, I completely agree to both Chetan and Nadeem in terms of how it will happen for the, I mean, in terms of, if you look at the blogs and if you look at LinkedIn or any various social media groups within or outside, you will get a feel and pulse of what people are thinking. The only question is the company agile enough to make those changes and, look at your whole retention piece. But let me also just fast forward 5 years hence, picking up from what Srikanth spoke in the morning. I see the whole job market changing in like a retail market or a tourism market. We all review, the user experience, right? Either when we are going into a hotel or buying products. How many of us don't do that before buying? Okay, so all of us kind of do that, right? So if you are wanting into, do a particular job for a particular company, okay, the user survey or the user reviews in terms of how was my experience on working on that particular project is what is going to be the future of any kind of job market. And that's something which is very eminent. I see all the technology, digital space getting into it. So whether I worked on an X project, on a Y project, and this is the skill set, but also this is the attitude that I got in, and this is the kind of response I got in, and what was my user, or what was my sense of feeling that I got in terms of being out there is what is going to be the future of job market, and that's what is the digitalization or the digital revolution which is going to be the thing. It's not that you're going to be held to one particular company, but it is going to be the project that gives you that sense of feeling and belongingness, and that's, I see what is the future.
Okay, so I'll logically take it to sort of conclusion. The question here is, people sitting there and people sitting here, are you social yourself? First, are you digital now? Are you social yourself? Number one. Second, when you're hiring people for your teams, especially the recruitment folks, do you check the digital quotient of the candidate who you're meeting? And as HR leaders, in the future context, should digital quotient be a KRA? Because can we afford to have people in our teams who are not digital enough? The whole world has moved to the digital social context. So first, is it mandatory? Is it important? Do you assess today? If not, what are you doing about it? And how do you want to measure this in the future context, saying, can you have a team member who is not social enough because of the transactions are social today? It's all digital. So do you think it's a great idea to make it a KRA and give it the desired weightage when you're assessing performance of a person? Right? So we can go around the table.
This time my turn came first, so I'll elaborate a little more. One thing consciously I am doing presently to all my team members of recruiters which I am managing. I am telling them to come away from Naukri, Monster. I am sorry if it is a job cut for job portals and job boards people. I am sorry for that. It still continue to exist over a period of time. I think my friends will accept for that. But this is a conscious message which is going across to all the recruiters. They will not have any of these user ID and password access going forward. With an employer perspective of searching candidates in these job boards, they need to identify candidates on their own. So that doesn't happen like that. So that happens only with their network, only with their strong skills of digitalization. So they need to have all those relevant information in their cell phones. Everything, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your belongs.com. So everything has to be up and running. Connect the dots very well with the candidate perspective what is candidate want, what is hiring manager needs, what is desirable, what is optional. This is very, very mandatory. As I responded to your question earlier, hiring managers tell you 10 things. Just stand upfront and ask, tell me what are the 3 things you need. I may not be able to get you all what you are asking. I may not be able to get you 8 of the parameters what you are asking. I will be able to get you only the top 3 parameters. Is that okay? If I am able to get you, what is the chances of the selection? 80%, 90%? Yes, this is mandatory. I am not going to compromise on that. What is desirable to have? Maybe another 1 or 2 skills which is good to have, which will give a competitive edge to the candidate for selling himself or herself. And what is optional? If it is there, well and good. If not, let's move on. This is something, a kind of a commitment or a upfront of what we need to have in the practical world of recruitment with our hiring managers. Let's keep it very straight. First thing. Second, come back with the same thought process with your recruiters and keep those options very much open for them. There is absolutely no laptop. There is absolutely no job boards. There is nothing. Only they need to network with their existing candidates. They have recruited a couple of candidates in the past. Just have to build a very strong network with them. Ask them to give leads. Multiply your network so that you are touching or getting into a candidate who is just standing next to you without knowing that is the right candidate for you. So just get into that space using all your passive networking skills. Plus use your smartphone to the max. Anyway, company gives you all the claiming charges, so you don't have to do much worry about it. So the charges, even now I have seen a lot of companies have revised your mobile phones as well as data phone charges, so that should not be a problem. So use all your apps well connected so that you are, as soon as you are opening it up, you are getting all the relevant information about the job description. Yeah, another thing I want to add here, being a recruiter, this has been something what I have been notified very fast. As soon as you get into a recruitment space, a hiring manager gives you a requirement. I want JD. What is the JD we need for? We don't know. Even hiring manager, what he wants, he doesn't know. What we need to go and hunt in the market, we don't know. So nothing is aware. There is a simple aspect to it. Please create your own JD. Create your own JD, go with all your intelligence, give options to the hiring manager, ask hiring manager, is this JD fits? I will tell you the crooked way of creating the JD also. So anyway, LinkedIn, lot of people are very well aware, everybody has a free user, login, all that. You just put any skill, at least 10 companies will be hiring for that. And all 10 companies, just to show, yes, we are there in the space, they will publish a very lucrative JD. What exactly they need. And they will classify all what they need. They will write the job specification, they will write desired skills, they will write mandatory skills, they will write work from home, on-site opportunities, salary, everything they will write. Please pick up 3-4 JDs, go through it well, frame your own JD by getting some intelligence or zero intelligence from your manager, go and present back to the hiring manager. He will feel fantastic about it. He or she will feel definitely fantastic about it. You have created your own JD. Use all your mobile phone smartness to get the relevant candidates, network with left and right people to ideally to get to the right candidate so that you will be able to get to the right candidate in the right time frame to hire the person. So in a nutshell, what I want to tell you is what we are doing. We are going to eliminate all the job boards going forward. Nobody will sit at their desk on the laptop to identify resumes and send mail blasts, ask the people to apply and all that. Nobody will do. They'll just use their smartphones. They will keep talking to people. They will ask references, multiply the references and keep hiring people. That's the simplest way what we are going to adopt. Thank you.
I think the digital part that we are talking about, very cool, what you started about common networking to large extent what I think just said, is it's a cultural shift. Somewhere it needs to get, culture doesn't get driven by saying it is, by just talking about it. There has to be some hard-coded things that need to go. There have to be guardrails that have to be put around it. So it needs to and should be over a period of time, and I see that happening. More and more digitalization that is going to creep in, is going to become part of our systems. As it becomes part of the system and people start getting evaluated on that, on their efficacy of being how digital they are in today's world, Obviously that will become an organizational culture, but that's not going to happen immediately. That's because as I started the conversation with, there are many 4 generations that are there, and I'm not saying that one generation is better than the other or worse off than the other, but I think it is a time that it will take. That time is not something like 10 years away, it's probably another 2 to 5 years away.
Okay.
What I feel is I think the ocean is already open now because 18 days back Modi announced that what is called demonetization, right? That has opened eyes for everybody in the country. 125 crore people, and I think very soon you will find a lot of people will get connected to you. The talent which is available in the very remote part of the countries, the small towns and villages and all, will very soon learn to reach out to you. So the KRAs or KPAs that you're talking about is for the recruiters will be, do you have platforms available for people to reach out to you? Okay, so that goes on that with the KRA because there's a huge amount of talent which is still not explored in this country, not got an opportunity not to explore. Is now ready and waiting at the doorstep, and as I said, next 2 to 5 years, there's a huge amount of population available talent, and we probably need to think through how we can, instead of they reach out to us, we have to make a platform for them to reach out to us. Secondly, what I feel is the external environment is actually changing faster than the internal environment of the organization. Organization is not really changing as faster as the external environment market. So that is, I think that is probably one of the reasons is the 4 generations which are there in the organizations. The top generation is probably not very flexible to change as fast as the markets which are changing outside. So I'm not saying that we need to replace them, but I think the sooner they realize this, I think the faster they'll be able to catch up with the market. And because if they do not catch up with the market, I think they'll be left behind. That's what I think.
Okay. Thank you.
I just want to add one more point with what our friend Nadeem said in the first address, that the candidates probability of joining and not joining, and a lot of other things attached to the hiring process. I think those are the external threats will always be there for any initiative that we do, right? So we have to live with that, those kind of threats all along, whether it is a talent acquisition or HR function or a business function. Threats will always be there, and we need to find out ways to reduce those threats, and through digitization, I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to see how we cope up with those threats.
Yeah, just expanding from what Dinesh just now spoke. So, on the internal environment. So let me just take it to the macro level view of the sectors. So, I mean, when he brought up the question, I was just thinking that when I was working for one of the BFSI sector companies, we weren't allowed to be social. It was completely restricted. To the extent, and there are companies still today who do not even allow you to put up your own LinkedIn page. Okay, they do not even allow you to put up your, your designation or your job description. The question then is, but yes, exactly, the whole point is the market or the millennials or the Gen X, whatever you want to call, are moving towards it. There are those kind of movements, external environments, which is making that happen. Which is what brings us to the whole regulatory environment piece. So when I look back and when I worked for the BFSI sector, I wasn't allowed because the regulations didn't allow me to do that. We were, when you work for those companies, you're regulated by the various market, be it the SEC or be it the UK markets regulations or anything like that. It doesn't allow you to opinionate on a particular stuff or write about it. So it becomes a very restraining environment. You just refrain from writing anything. And I've got this through personally, and that's why I'm writing the amount of things that I've written post moving out from a BFSI sector. And that's what makes me wonder, right? So you want to be social, is the sector or is the regulation allowing you to be social? You know, and that's most important. You can say people, you can put it as a KRI. I mean, I completely agree. How else will I know that you are the right candidate? How else I know what is your opinion on a particular stuff? How else I know what's your skill set? That's where I need to see you, right? I mean, it's not the older days wherein I was standing in queue and give out my resume. So this is the way of, another way of standing in the queue. The whole question is, regulatorily, are we open to it? How are we still looking at it? And how is it that internally, within the company, we are making this happen? Are we ready to trust our employees that they will not go and paste or cut-paste things which are internally highly confidential information out into the social media? And I think, again, for me, this is a very nice learning which I've seen in the startup world. It's a complete paradox. There is complete trust and there is absolute no trust here. What makes it happen? It's the same human beings. What is it that here they completely trust you, here they don't trust you at all? It's the same way millennials. No, what is it? That's where for me the behavioral science kicks in. You need to be social. I mean, human beings are social. And the latest trend of social is the digital media, right? So, what is it which prevents us from making that up? And that's the question I would like to ask.
Okay, so 3 questions between you and lunch. And my closing speech words are basically that the recruiter in me and the HR professional, I like to believe that irrespective of what happens, digital, social, the true definition of success is your ability to connect with your stakeholders, be it a candidate, be it a manager, as long as you're connected, and that is human, no tools, no innovation can replace that, and that defines the way you are able to execute what you're going to do. Okay? So thank you very much, panelists, was fantastic, reasonably good conversation. So what we will do now is that there are 3 questions. Would you like specifically somebody to answer, or are you okay with anybody taking the questions? Okay? The first question is, how to, I almost call the doctor because the prescription is as bad, right? How to maintain brand, I'm struggling, on online presence, having positive impact on hiring by filtering out negative remarks, which is a challenge these days. So basically, how do you maintain an online brand with all the negativity around, and how do you try to keep it positive? That's the question here.
I think I don't see that as a threat. I see that as a challenge, because as I said, if you do not provide enough information to the candidates, they will figure out what is going on in your organization, right? So the more you tend to be secret about what's going on, I think the more people will try to find out. It's like, I want to say, I tell something and it's very confident, don't tell anybody, especially your wife. Then you go around the town, right? So let those negativities be around and let that be a challenge, and for me to work towards it and see. Otherwise, how will you know what's going wrong in your organization, right? So and so some of these negativities, as I say, if you don't provide the right information and the correct information, people will create opinions about yourself, right? So avoid that. Try to give as much information to the employees and to the prospective candidates, and you will probably reduce them going to the Glassdoors and other places and hear more from your organization. So it's like hearing from your horse's mouth.
So my view on that is that, look, there is enough and more information available. First of all, you cannot even deny that it doesn't exist. That information definitely exists. As an employer, it's your responsibility to keep it as balanced as possible. You cannot tilt it. You cannot overly do it very positive, because I'm sure something is going to be wrong. Like I said, there is enough and more information available. So people will anyway find out. So if you are very worried about your online brand presence, try to keep it balanced. Don't try to fix it. Because fix can probably help you in the short term, but once you hire a person comes in, the reality anyway comes out. So it is the HR's responsibility to keep it as balanced as possible. I'm sure a lot of organizations are trying to do that. But more importantly, you need to be aware of what is available and what people are talking about you, and you cannot live in denial on that. I think second question was answered to some extent by Nadeem. I think he will take a shot at this. Naukri, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and what next? That is the question. I think you already answered it. No laptop, no.
Yeah, I have already answered this question, so probably I will pass it across to Chetan.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I think he has a similar opinion about what I have told. So, friends, the only request what I have to each one of you who are all brand recruiters, please spare some time for yourself. I know you are all running with huge targets and volumes of work and quantity and deliverables, numbers. As of yesterday, loads of things. Any hiring manager you meet, they'll say this rec is pending from 1 year. Nobody has closed. And I was supposed to get closed by yesterday, but because of that, I lost all the business opportunity. My whole business itself is sinking because of these people not being on board. So all this question you keep hearing, this is a fact. And as my friend told, we need to run and we need to live with it. One suggestion or an advice what I can give you is, you are running this shop maybe 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day or 9 hours precisely. Please spend at least 1 hour for yourself. Whether you have the technology in the organization or the organization is not so techno-savvy also, we are not sure about it, but nobody is stopping you to learn. So self-learning is a major aspect. Please concentrate on that. Go check, talk to your friends maybe who are working in a branded company or do a search. I'm sure there are loads of information which talks about better way of hiring, brand way of hiring, social media hiring, digital way of recruitment. Nobody is stopping you to learn. It is very, very important for each one of us to know what the different trends in recruitment. If you don't know, we'll perish. Performance is there anywhere, but perish will also come very faster if you don't know these techniques and these technologies which is coming up. That's what I would like to sum up. Please spare some time for yourself.
I just want to add one thing here, I think while we are sitting in this room and talking, today is a Saturday, somewhere in the world, somewhere the people are sitting and building a new technology. So we probably might replace LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else. So, and we probably over years of time from now, we'll have a new family discussing new topic, right? So there is no end to it. We still need to cope up with it and we need to move forward.
I hope it is us because we hope to stay relevant. Last question, and Chetan will take a shot at this. What relevant non-technical training will companies look for in this digital hiring world? That's the question. I got it right? Yep. Non-technical training. Yep. What relevant non-technical training? That probably is the right.
I think 2 or 3 things which are very clearly evident which you need to continue to train yourself is your ability to cope up with change, your ability to live in a world of uncertainty, your ability to live with a constant transformation that is happening not just with you within your organization, but in the external environment, which has got far more impact on the larger organizations. Your most critically, your ability to be to maintain the sanity in this changing environment. And are there prescribed tablets for it? The answer is no. You'll have to figure out what makes sense for every individual. And you'll have to find your own spaces in this changing world, because it's very easy to get, just go with the flow. You'll have to find this bit of a sanity, because if you have to lead an organization, if you have to be an anchor, if you have to be a strong operator, if you have to be a strong performance guy in this kind of a change environment, I think the most critical training that you probably need to, in my mind, have to go is to find your own space, find yourself, and make sure that you anchor on that. I think those are the things which are going beyond the standard training that we get in terms of our professional development courses. But I think it's more about you now to maintain that sanity as it is in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thanks very much for all the views and comments. So we are available at lunch, you can come and speak to us. So I think I end the session, and it's been very nice talking to you all. Thank you very much.
It is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best manage change. Sounds loud. Thank you, panelists, for such an invigorating session. Can I request Mr. Father Ganguly to felicitate the guests?
Me first. Oh no, the lady goes first. We insist. Dr. Dank
Group picture. Photo.
Yeah, we have to show that we are somewhere correct. Yes. Yeah, come. It's okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. My mother talked about the stories I used to spend as a child of 3 before I started school. I would tell the story about what school I went to and what uniform I wore and who I talked to at lunchtime and what I ate. And my mother was like, this girl does not even go to school. But this time I'm no longer 3-year-old and so there are no stories that I will spend. Let's really go, lunch is waiting. But before we leave, let me inform you that post-lunch session is at 2:15 p.m.
Welcome back, everyone. Learning today has become a business critical priority for increasing skills, improving the leadership pipeline, and enhancing employee engagement. As corporate learning undergoes a digital transformation, this is the time to assess the current learning environment and implement a new vision to build a corporate learning experience that touches every employee in a significant way. Corporate learning and development is one of the most pressing business and talent issues facing organizations. Business and HR leaders feel that corporate learning capabilities are waning and companies are now competing heavily for new technical and professional skills, and lots of organizations are finding themselves unprepared to meet this challenge.
This panel discussion would highlight how companies are redefining their learning strategy as a critical part of employee engagement, communication, and culture. The panelists would outline how chief learning officers are taking on critical business roles. With a background in employee development, change and leadership, the CLO of today wears many hats: Chief Capability Officer, Chief Leadership Officer, Chief Talent Officer, and even Chief Culture Officer.
This panel would be moderated by Gaurav Saini, Director, People Practice and Head, Learning and Development, Happiest Minds. Gaurav is the quintessential next generation HR leader, an expert in building HR strategy, and an HR evangelist with an experience to build and set up HR function in startups, companies, SMEs, and global brands. Gaurav is a specialist in talent acquisition, talent management, employee relations, learning and development, HR shared services, HR BP role, and HR generalist profiles. Driving the wellness initiatives, he deals in happiness evangelism index and measurement surveys. Gaurav has established the entire HR strategy and function for 3 to 4 companies now. He has been a consultant in HR strategy, talent development and strategy, and has been a mentor and coach to the startup founder and CEOs in building a winning people strategy and function. Gaurav is an expert in establishing leadership and learning academy, setting up the HR processes and systems, and has worked extensively on the employee engagement, happiness, attrition control, and achieving business results in collaboration with HR function. Gaurav is building talent for digital transformation business, artificial intelligence, automation, SMAC+, IoT, infrastructure and security, product engineering. Gaurav has a graduate degree in economics and is an MBA from IMS Roorkee. He started his career with Aviva and has worked on with Aon Hewitt, Tata AIA and IMI Mobile before joining Happiest Minds. So we welcome you.
Our next panelist is Rishikesh, is head of L&D of Oracle and emerging apps business in Wipro. He has over 19 years of global experience in IT service industry and has performed diverse leadership roles. Over the last 5 years, he has extensively worked on aligning workforce training strategy to meet business outcomes in dynamic IT marketplace. With strong background of IT delivery for international client, he has delivered workforce transformation, training intervention, improving cost of delivery, employee retention, and has created competitive differentiation in marketplace for the organization, that is introduction of innovative learning models and applying industry best practices. We welcome you, sir.
A man is not known by the heights he has conquered, but the depths from where he started his journey. Presenting our next panelist, Captain Shantanu Chakrabarti, Global Head Digital Experience and Gamification, CTS. Captain holds a postgraduate degree in applied psychology from the University of Calcutta. He joined the Indian Army in 1993 and retired in 2000, was part of the Air Defence and Missile Arm of the Indian Army. He had varied and diverse experiences of operating under hostile and unknown conditions and managing troops across various regional geographies. He was a distinctive instructor in various electronic warfare courses and in Nuclear Biological Chemical Warfare Protection Academy. He began his corporate career with G4S and has worked at NIS Sparta, Wipro, Aditya Birla Group and Punj Lloyd before he joined CTS. He is a master facilitator in the art of experiential learning methodology for accelerating learning and development of people. His straightforward, right from the gut approach may seem awkward at times, but one realizes the value of his dictum as time goes by. Once you know him, you realize that his intuition is backed with his experiences and vast exposure during his stint with Indian Army and later in the corporate sector. He is an energy bundle for the entire learning and leadership development fraternity, highly recognized in the industry for his training programs and execution style. He enjoys a huge fan following amongst the people who come in touch with him, and they say that if you haven't heard of Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine, Rattlesnake Cairn, then panic press Captain Shantanu. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Captain Shantanu.
His keen perspectives result in quick insights and meaningful results for the coach. This is coupled with his mastery and use of other supporting techniques like NLP and as a booster to his already effective style of coaching. Presenting our next panelist, Dr. M.S. Balaji, Vice President, Head HR and Transformation, PA Software Development Private Limited. Dr. Balaji has around 21 plus years of work experience leading HR strategic initiatives, performance management systems, talent management, assessments, employee development and retention, succession management leadership, industrial relationships, and organizational development, enabling the organization achieving long-term vision of the company. Specialist in change management, transformation, and mergers and acquisition. Dr. Balaji has done his Master of Social Work, Personal Management and Industrial Relation from Shahu Institute of Business Education and Research Center. He has also done his MBA in Strategic HR from OUBS UK. He completed his doctorate in Social Science from Shivaji University. Dr. Balaji is a Six Sigma Black Belt from the American Society of Quality, Certified NLP Master Practitioner from NFNLP USA, Professional Certified Coach PCC from International Coach Federation ICF. He is a member of NHRD, NIPM, FKCCI, ICF Bangalore. Founder Secretary of Tumkur Management Association. Dr. Balaji has been awarded Asia Pacific's 50 Top Talented HR Leader and Most Influential HR Leader in India by World HRD Congress. Apart from being a wonderful human being and an accomplished HR professional, Dr. Balaji is an amazing coach who has added value to the dilemmas and issues that lots of people have taken to the table. We welcome you, sir.
Our next panelist is Mr. Ranjit KP, Director, Human Resources, Fortinet. Ranjit is a seasoned HR leader who has over 14 years of experience working with blue-chip companies like Intel Security, Cisco Systems, and Fortinet. He has experience working with business leaders across globe in the capacity of an HR business partner. His experience includes leading mergers and acquisition projects, organizational development interventions, organizational cultural assessments, HR strategy alignment to corporate goals, and organizational competency development. He coaches and mentors senior leaders to bring out the best in them and helps them to navigate through various leadership challenges. His HR experience spans across business functions, which focuses on product development, services, and sales. He has an avid interest in HR consulting, designing of OD intervention programs, and change management. Ranjit currently leads the people function at Fortinet Innovation Center, India. Ranjit is an ardent fitness freak and is passionate about long-distance running, cross-country races, mountaineering, and high-altitude trekking. Sir, we welcome you.
So I'll be the moderator today. My name is Gaurav. So we thought of some other model. We start with some discussion and then maybe ask the questions and all the stuff. So, but there are a few things which crops up when you talk about learning or L&D. Although post-lunch talking about L&D is very difficult because it's a very dry subject. But we try to make it very interesting because vouch for it, learning is going to be very interesting in next 5 to 6 years. And that's one of the brightest area in HR field, I would say, or people field, which is going to kind of flourish like anything. And it's going to. So when we talk about learning, we talk about redesign, we talk about reboot, we talk about reimagine. So we'll try to do all these things with our panelists today. We have actually very diverse panel and good background of things which can help us out with that. So start with because all these redesign, reboot, everything is connected to something like a monster called digitalization. I'm saying monster because everybody is scared of it. So call HR guys, they're talking about digitalization. L&D guys, they talk about digitalization. Everybody is talking about it. And one of the companies, or I would say one of the actually they are trendsetters now for digitalizing the learning experience of the people in this field is one of this Cognizant. And I would start with Captain Santanu about his experience, Captain. I've been in the forums with you. We have spoken a lot of forums about the Cognizant, how they are changing the experience of the people in this field. And we would like to know from you your experience that how did you start it, and how do you kind of see the future of learning changing with digitalization, or else maybe other aids which you're using actually currently?
So, good afternoon. Thank you, Gaurav. So, I would start with Partho giving us the Napoleon's slot, that is post-lunch. And the numbers is similar to what I get for nominations during my learning sessions that came in, and that is there. Having said that, we'll try to do as a panel the best job of what we did. And like I said, we're going to change the trend of probably asking you guys to ask us questions. That would make it more interactive. So I'll start with this question. What do you see in my hand? Water bottle. It's a bottle. What is this part of the bottle? Okay. Sorry? Stopcock. It's the cap. What is this part of the bottle? So, and where is it? Right at the top. So that answers so bottlenecks at the top, right? So I heard Purnima and people talking about mindsets and bottlenecks. So I'm going to open my statement by giving you 6 trends, which kind of redefine the way Cognizant is looking at digital and digital. So there's a difference between digital literacy and learning design, which is digital. And that's exactly what we are doing. So I have my team member, Aarti, Dr. Aarti sitting here, who heads the behavioral assessments. So we are looking at stuff. So I'll give you 6 key instructions, very short and sweet, which will give you an idea. And then later on when I speak, I'm going to give you exact test cases of what we have done. The first is, you would have heard of this new animal called AI, okay, artificial intelligence. So intelligence, and where is it going to take you and me into timeline? So intelligence is everywhere. It is not something which you have created. However, we are looking at probably the move from an app-based learning to a bot-based dictionary. So when I say a bot-based dictionary, it is more personalized. So as and when you start seeing things like, you would have a bot store. So we have things like Ken, which is a bot we have used. We are lying it beyond our learning designs, which learns how the user learns. So I keep telling people, Cognizant recruits in Ireland every year. It's like 40,000 people join us year on year. So the scale of stuff is very good. So you're going to be seeing a lot of bots which is coming in, which is a move. And we have started off with one bot, which is called Ken, which is looking at that. The second trend is voice is the new run. This is something which was said by Microsoft, Steve. Voice, or natural language processing. WhatsApp, many of you, most of us are in some groups. Natural language processing as a learning mechanism for just-in-time learning is what we are doing. So we have used. And for us, the biggest example of what we did was in Chennai, in the crisis last year. 100,000 of our people are in Chennai, out of the 242,000 that we have. And the entire workforce, 100,000 people were they were not traceable. So we did that, and a lot of you did that. So WhatsApp, kind of similar stuff, using Yammer. We are the largest consumer of Yammer. Or natural language processing of, you are used to very text and natural language. You don't need to code. So that is something which is very pertinent. Third, people coughed at Mark Zuckerberg when he bought, for $19 billion, he bought WhatsApp. Microsoft has recently acquired LinkedIn for $23 billion. Now, LinkedIn has become the world's biggest cloud dictionary, okay? Corporate cloud dictionary. In fact, today when you have a consumer complaint, I've seen people going into LinkedIn to find out somebody from that company to do that. So you are not going to be taken as an insanely madcap if you're looking at cloud as your content repository. So we are using cloud as a content repository, not necessarily which has been designed by us. We have got tools to track, which is outside the enterprise learning system. I will talk about it. The fourth is Pokemon Go. Reality is overrated. Where is Pokemon Go now? So the shelf life of these kind of trends is max to max 180 days. It doesn't work beyond. But however, have we tried to home on to Pokemon Go? For example, we use Pokemon Go, the technology used for Pokemon Go, to mark attendance in classrooms. So we built a game design. The longer you stay in the classroom, you gather Pokemon Go's. All right. So the virtue of sitting there, you gathered. So we look at different streams of it, but yes, reality is overrated. So you would have to be very content that what you design today may not be pertinent tomorrow. Redundancy kicks in. 140 word Twitter, that's the king. Anything beyond 3.5 minutes on a video immersive experience is dead. You cannot create contents which are 30-40 minutes. Or I have this Shadiwala thing which somebody stands with a video camera in a classroom and then make it video learning. Doesn't work. Most of your organizations will have loads and loads of data points. We look at deep linking of those data points. 30 minutes of content in video. Maybe the 4th minute to 7th minute is what is important. And that is what we look. We look at consumption versus completion. That is the one way we are looking at stuff. And that is not possible through human. That is what it does. Last, how many of you have heard of blockchain? So this is where I find that HR teams, which is not quite familiar with terms that are there in the market, non-federated governments of fiscal policies. You would have heard of Bitcoin, right? Uses blockchain. Peer-to-peer learning using blockchain non-federated governance. That is our induction program. We are trying to work with the induction team. 7 runs of the induction, about 40 to 50% of the content was not designed by the learning team. It was designed by the people who went through it. What is relevant, what is fine, and what is peer-to-peer. So these are the 6 trends that we follow in the COE that our team runs on. And I'll talk more about it when you ask me questions of which exact part of the learning function do we actually work in these. Thank you.
Wow, I think I'm quite confused now because I've learned all the technological terminologies now in learning, and it's interesting, Captain Shantanu. I'll move on to another services company representative here. So Rishi, I would like to know, because Wipro is one of the bigger players in IT services again. So any trends which you see your company in the past has been implementing, or is in future they are planning to do that, looking at the trends which are changing in learning?
Thanks, Gaurav, for giving that opportunity. So I'll just little bit give a small background to my answer, and then I will come to a direct answer. So first of all, I want to thank GIBS for arranging this beautiful seminar or panel discussion here, and really happy to see very energetic crowd behind. I would suggest if you have all your students, they can be here, because L&D is all about students, right? So I want all your student folks who are around here to be listening to this. Okay, that is one request I want to make. Before I get into explaining what Wipro is doing here, okay, I want to just slightly set context to my thought process for the topic of this panel discussion. So I went through both the panel discussions in the morning. I was sitting as an audience, and a lot of insightful data has come from the HR practices and the recruitment both, right? And one thing that consistently came in both the panels, and I feel it is no less relevant in L&D discussion, is the human touch. Okay, and I feel L&D discussion is the most likely to get confused in the digital world, because it has the most powerful tools to deliver L&D, in via digital media. Okay, but we can't afford to lose the human touch when we are doing any digitization or using digital while doing trainings. Okay, it is a very, very underlying thing that has to be, that's my point of view. So because the biggest challenge, now I will come to what Wipro is doing to some of the business challenges we are facing. So it will make, it will be contextual why we are doing certain things. So we are recruiting, more than, somewhere between 3,000 to 6,000 every year from campuses. Yet we need to do a 3-month training program for these employees to become deployable on the projects. Why so? Why 3 months to be trained further after coming out of a degree or a degree qualification which lasts for 4 to 5 years? First problem statement. Why people leave, right? I mean, we are the industry which is one of the largest attritional attrition industries, like good attrition, bad attrition, very was nicely put by Srikanth in the morning. So we end up having a lot of bad attrition. That is an employee who actually can do the next level role and is within the compa, but he still leaves us. Why? Right? So, so these are the real challenges which are grappling even a large organization like us. Now, as an L&D head for a business unit within Wipro, I see other set of problems, okay, which could be much more focused. When we try to get into any training program, the expectation is to, like, you put cane from this side and have a juice on the other side, right? Which cannot happen because we are talking about humans. We're talking about people whom we are trying to train, and the business expects that the next day they should be able to deliver, right? Is it possible? The same thing, what is failing when it comes of the educational institutions, the reason they are not able to immediately deliver, the same thing for any corporate training programs we do, the expectations from L&D function is to deliver the next day. You're out of this program, the person's behavior should have been changed. Or you're out of the training program, forget behavioral, which is most complex, but technical trainings, technology trainings also. The expectation is once you're out of that program, you are ready to deploy, you are done, And especially for so many new technology terms that, Captain Shantanu just mentioned, there is a long learning curve before anybody can reach there. So, fine, I just gave up outside a background of some of the problems. Now let me come to what Wipro is doing in terms of some of the initiatives. So, we have realized that there has to be a totally different way to connect to the generation that we are recruiting now. Right? So, we have adopted social platforms within the organization, which is called Yammer. So, before our employee goes out in Facebook and LinkedIn and expresses his anguish or frustration, what are the problems he faces, it's better we hear from them directly. And hence we are promoting this social media internally, which is a Yammer platform. It is also expected to help in terms of developing those communities of specific technology tracks, and they develop that community feeling within that particular area. It could be an SAP, Oracle, Java, or whatever technology or functional domain areas that could be there. So adoption of social platform inside the organization, Yammer. That is the one thing Wipro has done. Secondly, training anywhere is another theme that we are adopting. We have a diverse global workforce which is in India, which is in US and any other geography of the world. Whenever we are trying to arrange trainings, two problems. First is availability of the expert, who is the subject matter expert in that area, right? As a L&D function, we don't have always the availability of an expert to do every session we want to do. Secondly, availability of the audience itself. So, though we get a request from business that, hey, we want a training on XYZ, all the topics. And when I go back and say, oh, okay, so this is the schedule I have, and this is the trainer, this is when the expert is available because he's very busy wherever he is. Then comes the question, hey, no, we can't spare a person for full day. There is availability impact. I can't share a person. He is full time working on a project. How can he go and sit in the training room for one full day? We can't afford that. So how do we bridge this? And this is it's a never-ending problem, right? So going digital, this is the only option over here, right? So going online for all our training programs, they can be rendered anywhere across the globe over the internet, and that is what we are calling as going digital. So these are some two initiatives I will just call out at this stage, which are very active digital initiatives, as we say. Apart from this, Wipro having a clear business shift to digital as a business, obviously there is a huge pressure on us to cross-train everybody who is possibly not on the digital training technologies. I have to be moving towards all of this, which is a separate subject and which you are dealing with.
Thank you, Rishi. So how, for the audience perspective, how we going forward is that we are taking the perspective from the IT services. We're taking two perspectives. One, we have an expert from product industry. So we'll get into his trends also, that from product industry perspective, are there any new trends which are emerging in learning space? So I'll move on to you. So can you please tell us maybe from product perspective what are the trends which you have seen?
I think it's absolutely a delight to hear to both of you. Right, it's a very different perspective from what we do. And I think let me introduce where I belong to. I belong to a company called as Fortinet. We are into cybersecurity. We develop products to secure most of the world's precious assets across different industries, verticals. So from my background, if I have to look at the many companies which I worked with, it's a very different model which we work, especially on L&D space, because most of the product companies have a very lean L&D model. Right, we don't have a large L&D team in-house delivering, our requirements. Most of the things are getting outsourced. You have a core team which probably work with Boston Consulting or a McKinsey. We actually go to them, source expertise, and deliver to our customers. Right. So one, it is very lean model. The other is the time to train is very limited because we are in a situation where the competition is very fierce. Right. So we have to build a product, market it, reach the end customer. Your time is between 2 to 3 months, and the next version comes in the time. So what we do is the change happens right from recruiting model because we actually pick up people who are good enough at the work at the beginning. So your time to train. So our recruiting process is aligned in such a way that these are people who is best in mind, who is somebody who is out of box. So somebody who can actually start thinking, doing, delivering right at the day one. So one is the recruiting model. Other is the kind of things which we train on. I'm sorry to say that we don't have much focus on the soft skills, right? Because most of the things we are expecting them to have.